My brother is, Alan, had a one-night engagement at a party with a woman, Julie. He had never met her before and he was drunk. A few couple months later, Julie ended up pregnant. He had a paternity test. Alan has highly paid job. He promised to pay for child support and be there for the kid, but he refused to get involved any more than necessary with the mother. My father decided to give Alan a small 2-bedroom apartment as graduation gift. One day Julie showed up at his door claiming that his sister kicked her off the house and had nowhere else to go. He let her stay with the kid but on the condition that she didn't interfere with his life, but after about 2 months Julie started acting like his wife. She tried calling his work to talk to him, started complaining about him coming home late, but the final straw was when she was going through his phone and got jealous at him sexting other women and then demanding that they go to couples counseling. They were never a couple and he stated it clearly since day one. After that he had enough. He packed his stuff and left. He told Julie that she could live there and he would keep paying child support, but to never bother him again. She was angry. A few months after Alan left the apartment he met Amy. Amy is amazing. Julie got jealous of Amy, called her a homewrecker. Fast forward 5 years, Alan proposes to Amy. A few months ago Julie somehow found out where they live, and they ambushed him when Amy was traveling for Workwood. He was waiting for them with her whole family at his house. They started yelling and berating for being a bad father and an awful husband, for not sending enough money for his son, while living in a big and fancy house with his mistress. Her family demanded Alan to break up with Amy and to officially marry Julie, and to get couples counseling to save the relationship. Alan got mad, threatened to call the cops and demanded them to leave his property. He later decided to evict Julie from his apartment. She tried to fight it in court but lost. After all that, my brother decided to give the apartment to me since he doesn't need it and I've been saving for a house. I was so thankful that I gave him a big hug and started to skip like a teenaged girl on Justin Bieber concert. A month after, Julie then called me crying and telling a sob story about how now she can't afford rent in the same area and that the schools are not as nice and that her son misses his friends at the old school, that she can't have the same quality of life as before and having to sell a bunch of her stuff. She then asked me if she can live with me and pay half of the cost, bills, taxes, etc. I blow at her, called her a lying, manipulative, gold-digging bee and that I don't help people like her, and hung up. I told the story to a few friends and they said I could have been more sympathetic or at least not have been so rude, since it's hard to be a single mother. So Reddit Ida? My brother dated Jane for 2 years about 1.5 years ago. He broke up with her because of incompatibility and because he thought she was too immature. He is now dating another lady and has been for 6 months. Jane and I have been dating for almost a month now. Everything is great. She sort of lives in my apartment now and does stuff like clean, make food, etc. We spend a lot of time together. I'm honestly just treating this relationship quite casually, and she is too. Sometimes when we go to events we bump into my brother and his new GF. It's kind of awkward when they are together, so we try to avoid those confrontations. My brother is seriously overreacting over our relationship. He sat me down for a talk once and warned me about her, since he thinks that she's just using me to get back at him. I told my brother that Jane is definitely over him, but he told me to be careful. Plus I get the sense that he's just plain unhappy I'm dating his ex-girlfriend, in an almost resentful way. I definitely feel like our relationship has gotten icier since I started dating her. My brother also tells me stuff about how she is very clingy and needy and immature, etc., which I thought was uncalled for. Jane is a bit naive, but she's sweet and overall harmless. She may have been all those things with him, but with me she's not like that. So my question is, how can I let my brother know that I don't need his advice? He's still treating me like his baby brother who needs his protection from everything. TLDR, I am dating my brother's ex. He is always warning me about her and badmouthing her. He thinks she's just using me to get back at him, which is not true. In 2010, my brother started dating his ex-girlfriend, A. I had been friends with her for a couple years prior and they met through me. During their relationship, A, my best friend P, and I all spent a lot of time together and we all were close. 4 years in, A and my brother were rocky when A's friend G swooped in and started dating my brother, getting pregnant 2 months later. This obviously caused a lot of drama. G passionately hated A. I tried to maintain my friendship with A, but we inevitably had a falling out as I felt like I had to choose between her and my brother. I made a sacrifice because I knew G was going to be around for a while and I didn't want to jeopardize my family's relationship with her as they wanted to be in the baby's life. My brother married G and they now have 2 children together. I never liked the type of person G was, but I put in a lot of effort to have a good relationship with her because she is family. Everything has been great for a few years. 2 years ago, I moved out of state with my boyfriend, and because of the distance, I now hardly see or talk to her, but there were no problems. Fast forward to October 2019. My best friend P has passed away in a car accident. I was and still am absolutely devastated. I found out through the grapevine and sent me a message on social media expressing her condolences and apologizing for us having a falling out. I responded apologizing for the faults on my end, and I agreed that it was water under the bridge. We shared memories of our time spent with P. A is now married, has children of her own, and is very happy. We then followed each other, and a couple weeks later, she commented on a picture I had posted of P. Not long after, I received a phone call from my brother and G. Long story short, G saw the comments and was furious. She called me a B for talking to A. I calmly explained that the only reason we spoke was because of P's passing away. G said she understood why I spoke with A. She's just shocked I'd do something like that and is convinced I am a liar and that I am fake because I promised her I'd never speak to A again. I have zero memory of this. I said that regardless of whether or not I ever made that promise, the rules don't apply in this situation. I was the person that called people P knew to inform them of her passing away, and I had to talk to a few people I don't particularly like, but you put your bullcrap aside because there are more important things going on. I've been in a bad place mentally over losing P, and my patience for G was very low given the situation. I promptly told her that I am 27, I'm not her girlfriend, who I talked to is none of her business, and her being my SIL does not put her in a position of authority to dictate that. It's been a couple weeks and she just called my parents and told them she thinks I'm a bad person, which didn't go well for her. Ida? My brother and I shared a room all of our childhood. I lived in a household with 4 kids, my mom, and my stepdad. I was the techie geek in the house, and as such I hated sharing the family computer. I saved and bought my own computer for my room that no one else could use, sometimes sharing with my brother who is 5 years my elder. My brother had a girlfriend who would come over often, and bro code recognizes that I spend my time in my living room most of the time she was over. It was okay. A few years later when I started having girls over, my brother did the same for me. That said, my brother started letting his girlfriend use my computer. I let it go at first, but then I started getting viruses and crap. Not cool. I let him know she wasn't allowed to use it anymore, but he didn't want to get on her bad side, so he really didn't stop her. You guys remember Trojan.Vundo? I do. I wasn't happy. So, I had a somewhat clever idea, didn't think it would work permanently, but it did. I should mention at this point that ex-girlfriend is terrified of clowns. I know she's coming over, so I hide all desktop icons and change my wallpaper to Pennywise, Tim Curry. Obviously, I turned my monitor off and left the room when she got there. About half an hour later, it pays off. I swear to you I have never heard a girl scream like she was being done away with the way ex-girlfriend screamed. She never used my computer again. They broke up years later because she was mega B anyway. Last December, my brother and his girlfriend, Mel, both early 20s, broke up. He didn't provide any details, just told our family the news and let us know they had no hard feelings towards each other. I figured they were just too busy to sustain things. A couple weeks later, Mel needs a new place to live because her parents were kicking her out for not having a job. My husband and I, mid-20s, offered her our spare room. We did talk to my brother first, and all he said he was happy we were there for her. She moved in at the beginning of the year. Mel and my brother reconciled around February, and decided to give their relationship another go. Mel starts school and starts moving up the ranks at our local Starbucks. Things are great. That lasted until early July, which is when crap all hit the fan. Once again, they broke up, and my brother spared details in an effort to maintain privacy. But shortly after the breakup, Mel posted an Instagram story with pictures of her and another girl kissing with captions of how much she missed her love. It becomes clear that she cheated on my brother with this girl. I'm heartbroken for my brother, and husband and I are ready to ask Mel to move out. We confront her, and she tells us she and my bro have made peace with what happened, and that if we kicked her out now she would be homeless. Sympathy takes over, and we agree to let her stay. About a week later, my dad fills us in about their first breakup. Turns out Mel stole my brother's card info and used it to buy train tickets to her girlfriend. When my brother noticed the charges, he spent weeks trying to trace the source while she just watched and helped before the truth finally came to light. We also pieced some facts together and realized we actually gave her a ride to the train station for another one of these visits. There was also an incident where my brother had $2,000 cash stolen in a supposed break-in, but well, now I guess we know the culprit there, too. At this point, husband and I are both livid. We never would have taken her in if we had known all this, and are especially angry that we basically assisted her in cheating on my brother. We ask her to leave, firmly this time, and give her till the end of the month, just over 3 weeks. She leaves her job, moves to her girlfriend, and stiffs us on 2 months of rent. Were we TA for kicking her out? I feel like we were justified, but sometimes I wonder if our emotions got the best of us. We forced her to leave a good job and probably a lot of the stability she had built up during her time with us.